Hey friend, this is Jennifer, and this is the Jennifer Allwood Show, the podcast for women who want to learn how to live an intentional life or build their creative business. I'll be giving you my very best business tips, bringing you interesting guests, giving you a daily dose of Jesus, and I'm committed to always keeping it real. Grab a cup of coffee and let's dive in. I'm so honored that you're here. Hey, my friend, did you know I'm hosting my first annual business conference? I think that by saying those words, that basically means I'm signing on for another one next year. I'm not sure. But anyway, we are hosting the Equipped Women's Conference here in Kansas City. This is a conference that's focused on arming God's women to do business in God's way. This is here in my hometown of Kansas City, Missouri, and we are so excited to have you. We're going to have some incredible speakers like top podcast host Jamie Ivey of the Happy Hour podcast. We have author and coach Dr. Brian Dixon, Jenny Taylor of Jenny Does Grace for all of you that love MLMs and network marketing, and then Chastity Stemmons, who owns Homemaker and High Heels and is also my personal stylist. You are going to have an incredible 2 days filled with tons of encouragement, connections, and tangible action items for your business. And so if you need a pick-me-up in your business, if you need a pick-me-up in your faith, then this is a great event for you. I want you to grab a girlfriend and I want you to get ready to be equipped. Go to jenniferallwood.com/conference and I will see you in Kansas City in May. Well, hey friends, welcome back to the podcast this week. I'm super excited to chat with you again and talking about what I think is a fun little topic, which has a tendency sometimes to step on a couple of toes. So listen, Linda, brace yourself here, okay? Because what I'm going to talk about is how being a jack of all trades can actually be keeping you broke. Now, oftentimes when I'm talking in my Inner Circle coaching group or my Creator's Roadmap course, this will be a very different type of thinking for some people. And contrary to what logic, wants to make us think. And so I'm telling you, if you can wrap your head around this concept, it will change so many things in your business, okay? And so we're going to talk about why being a jack of all trades is actually keeping you broke. So we just had like a small opening for people who are on the wait list to my monthly coaching group, my Inner Circle. I've had this group for 3.5 years. I love these entrepreneurs. We have over 2,000, mostly women, but a couple guys in there who are just doing the thing. And so when I do monthly, weekly coaching sessions with them, I will actually pull their face up onto a screen and I'll want to ask them questions about their business. And on occasion, because I'll say, hey, Connie, tell me what it is that you do. And oftentimes the response from some of my entrepreneurs will be a little bit complicated. And they'll say to me, they'll go, oh, Jen, that's a great question. Or they'll go, well, I do a little bit of everything. Or, I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none. Or they'll say something kind of cute. And then I have to put on my preachy pants. And so I'm going to put on my preachy pants here. Because one of the things I work with my entrepreneurs is to really dial down what it is that you do so that when you're in an elevator, that's what the example everybody gives, your elevator pitch, or you're at a dinner party, or you're stinking at Costco and somebody says, hey girl, what do? You do not want to say, well, that's a good question and start hee-hawing around because you've literally lost all of the people already. Okay, so this is what we're talking about today. First, we're going to just read a real quick review, though, for the Jennifer Allwood Show podcast, and it's from Natalie. Natalie is the business owner at Kidpreneur Project, and this is what she says. She says, Jen brings all the wisdom with a dose of tough love. Her message is uplifting, positive, and actionable. I feel motivated to tackle the challenges in both business and life after every episode. Thanks, Jen. Natalie, thank you. And thank you guys. When you go over and leave me a review on iTunes, it matters. We see them. This is how we get great podcast sponsors. This is how we get great guests. So please go do that. And I would love to give your business a shout out too. So back to the podcast here. When I'm in the Inner Circle and I say to my ladies, okay, I bring their face up on the screen. Tell me what you do. What you do not want to say is, well, there's a whole lot of things I do. And we're going to talk about this, okay? Listen, I understand the logic. And the logic is often that if I do many things, that it will get me many clients. And the reverse logic of that is if I narrow it down to just one thing, then it's going to keep me really small because I actually have all these talents, right? Can anybody resonate with that? And so that is actually reverse of what I want my people to think. And there are many, many reasons why. The thing with most creatives is when God gave you the gift of creativity, he didn't usually give it in just one area. It's not like you can only make earrings, but you can't also make your house look cute. It's not like you got the gift of, organizing your pantry, but you couldn't also stage a home for resale. Like usually the gift of creativity is very broad. It's an amazing gift because we can paint and decorate and put the cute outfit together and all of the things. The creative gifting is not stifled to just one area. Okay. So first of all, grasp that concept. When God's like, hey girl, I'm going to give you the gift of creativity, do something with this. He didn't mean for you to do something with this in just one area. But when it comes to business, you have to originally start out with just one thing. Okay. And we're going to talk about why. All right. Also, a lot of times when creative people are just starting out, this is the very thing that will keep them from actually starting a business in the beginning. Because here's what a typical creative's thinking. Well, I could do the earrings, or I could do a floral business, or I could also do scrapbooking online, or perhaps I could make wreaths. I can do all those things. So how do I begin a business? Now, the way the enemy comes in is he gives you those thoughts, right? And so you're thinking, yes, girl, I can do all the things. I wish you could see me right now on the podcast. I'm dancing. I'm dancing like a 47-year-old would. And so you're thinking, I can do all of the things. And so how do I ever pick one? And in the process of thinking that you've got to pick and get started, you never get started because you don't want to limit yourself. Listen, creative people hate to be told what to do. Can I get a yes and an amen? And if you're truly an entrepreneur, you double down on the hating being told what to do. So when you have a business coach like me saying you've got to pick one thing, internally, what a creative person will do is they will be busting elbows because they're like, I don't want to. Nobody puts baby in a corner. Nobody makes me decide on one thing. And I totally get that. But unless you can double down on one thing to start, you're never going to get started. Okay. So by the way, if you have not really started a business yet and you are just kind of still messing around with a hobby, but you really are I listened to Jennifer. I understand what she's saying. I want to change the trajectory of our family. I want to leave a legacy for my children. I just want to pay, the car payment this month. I want you to go right now to jenniferallwood.com/starter pack. It's a freebie. You put in your email address and it'll be emailed to you in just a couple of minutes. And it basically tells you all the things you need to do to get your business name set up, how to get it set up with an accountant, what you need to do on Facebook, all of the things. It's a great little resource. Okay. So as a creative, I understand you can do all of the things, but doing all the things is actually going to keep you doing none of the things. Can somebody tweet that? If you are one of those people who are well, I can do all the things, that actually means you can do none of the things because you're confusing your audience. When you think about clients and getting clients, your clients want to hire people that they believe are experts in one area. Okay. So, I'm trying to think of, let me give you a concrete example. So for my Equipped Women's Conference, this just popped into my head. My friend Chastity Stemmons is going to be a speaker there. She teaches women how to dress for success, both on their body and in their house. Now, Chastity can also, do a million other things. She can cook. She can teach about family. She can preach. She can talk to you about how to make jewelry look good. She can organize a closet. She can XYZ. But even though she can do all those things, she needs to get known for the one thing. And she is. She's known for helping women dress for success, both in the home and on their physical body. And so get known for one thing. And then after you've gotten known for one thing, here's the caveat. And you have done your due diligence and you've kind of put a stake in the ground, then you have earned the right to add to the things that you do. When we started my coaching groups, we started it out for just creative women. I wasn't trying to be a business coach for all of the people and all of the things. I was teaching creative women how to make money online. Now, for some people, you might be thinking, well, Jen, that's really keeping you small. Think of all the men, think of all the other businesses, think of all the other people you're missing out on. And why I understand that logic, the truth is I have become known as the business coach for creatives. You've got to get known for one thing first. I want you to imagine whatever it is that you do, and you've got all your gifts, right? And I want you to imagine that a bunch of people are out to dinner some night, and somebody was to say, so I'm really looking for someone to come in and paint a mural on my kids' bedroom walls. You have to be known as the muralist in your area if you want your name to get dropped at that table. But if you have been positioning your business as a jack of all trades and you do a little furniture painting and a little mural painting, and you do some wallpaper hanging for people that hate painting, also you can rearrange somebody's furniture and stage their house for resale. Your name is not going to get dropped at that table because you haven't gotten known for one thing. So I really need you to double down on just getting known at first for one thing, because you've got to get known for something or you're not going to be known for anything. So I want you to remember that choosing the one thing is not going to limit you. So when I have my inner circle, my coaching group, for instance, and people come in who are in real estate, it's not like I'm saying, oh, no, sis. My inner circle is only for creatives. Yes, that's who we're marketing to. Yes, that's what I'm known for. But it's not like I can't do any of the other things. Does that make sense? By the way, can I just put on my preachy pants for 1 second here? This is probably an entirely different podcast episode, but I'm just going to go off the rails here for just a second. I know my team's going, oh, Lord have mercy. What is she doing? Stay to the script. No, I'm not going to stay to the script. Okay. I just want to talk about one thing real quick. Last week, when we had my inner circle open, just for people who have been waiting for a while, we literally only open this to the public like twice a year. I had so many people messaging me, my friends, and here's what they said. So do you think that your group is a good fit for me? Do you think, I own a clothing boutique. Do you think this is a good fit for me? I just started my business about, I'm blogging. Do you think this is a good fit for me? And I got to tell you something. I don't know what God is doing in me lately that I am just getting bolder and bolder in my responses. But this is what I said. I can remember leaving this message for 2 women in particular. And if this was you, just know I said it with all the love in my heart. And I told you that in my response. Girlfriend, my group is $47 a month. If you're telling me you want to grow your business and you are stuck on a $47 decision, how can God ever trust you with a business big enough to make a $4,700 decision or a $47,000 decision or $470,000 decision? Come on, Lord. Right? I mean, friends, we got to stop getting stuck on the little stuff. Now, do I know that $47 is a big deal to some people? Absolutely. There was a time we were dead broke and $47 was everything. But I also know $47 is about what a family of 4 is going to spend at Applebee's this weekend after church. I also know that $47 is less than most people's, cell phone bill a month, cable bill a month, or Netflix bill for a couple months. Come on now. Somebody give me a yes and an amen. Please, ladies, stop getting stuck on the little decisions. What I told both of them is try it for a month. My Lord, have mercy. $47, you've spent that on way worse things, sister. Don't get stuck on a $47 decision. Okay. All right. I'm on. Moving right along. Okay. So back to my creative people for 1 second. I got to tell you a couple more things here. Okay. Creative people think, well, if I decide to go in business and I go all in on one thing, what's going to happen if I change my mind? Girlfriend, you are going to change your mind. None of us are the same people we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Thank God, right? And the trends change. So just because you go all in on underwater basket weaving today, by the way, never go all in on that. That doesn't mean that's what you still need to be doing 2 years from now, but that's where you've got to start today to actually get started and to actually get known for something. Are you going to change your mind down the road? Abso-freaking-lutely, and you should. Because the things, like when I think about what I started doing, which was decorative painting back in the year 2000, doesn't that just sound, can you even remember the year 2000? That is wild. When you think about, I remember did anybody else fill their bathtub like on New Year's Eve just in case the world exploded? On New Year's Day of the year 2000, just me? Okay. But when you think about there's no way you can keep doing what you were doing 20 years ago because times change. What's popular changes. What's in trend changes. You are going to change your mind because a typical creative is going to get very bored with herself and what she's doing. And she should. You should. You absolutely should. You're a creative. You're not supposed to be doing the same thing over and over. You're always supposed to be creating. You're always supposed to be honing that creative skill, okay? So what if you want to change your mind? You're going to. Ladies, very few things on this side of heaven are permanent. Give yourself a business name that can grow with you, okay? By the way, don't name your business the Magic Brush. That was dumb. Do you know how many phone calls we got for people who thought it was the Magic Bush and they were looking for a landscaper? Do you know how many people we got that called me because of my big hair thinking I sold hairbrushes? Do something that can grow with your business, such as Amber's Designs, Lisa Carper Designs. I'm just looking at names here. Bonnie's Creations. Okay. Do something that will actually like grow with you if you decide that you want to shift, okay? So my creatives will say, well, what if I change my mind? I say, you're gonna, girl, no worries. And then they say, well, what if I want to do other things? Fine, add it in. But you got to lead with one thing. You got to lead with one thing. And then people will also say, well, what if I want to make a total pivot? Listen, go listen to podcast episode 79 that I did, which is all about pivoting. And I know every time I bring up that episode, somebody will inevitably send me a screenshot on my Instagram DMs of Ross in that great episode of Friends when they're like pivoting the furniture on the stairway. I love it. Thank you for doing that. And so go listen to that pivoting thing. Pivoting is going to happen. We're not meant to stay the same. Okay? So start now getting known for one thing. After you've mastered that, then you can add on to your repertoire. I want to just give you a personal experience I had with this, okay? Most of you know I had that decorative painting company that I started in the year 2000 up until about 2 years ago. And I was doing business coaching at the same time that I was running that decorative painting company. And I got to the point, and I had earned the right to where I only had to work on that business for about 10 hours a week. And for 10 hours a week of effort, we were making multiple six figures a year. Now, in the logical, in the normal thinking, in the world, it seemed ludicrous to most people that I would shut down that painting business when for 10 hours a week we made a dream income for a lot of people. But what had happened was I was doing that and I was doing the coaching both. And I will go ahead and go out on a limb and say, this is what happens also when people are doing wreath making and furniture painting and home decorating and cookies, okay? When you're doing all of the things. It's so hard to focus on any one thing. Like your mind is kind of sort of over here and it's also kind of sort of over here and it's a little bit over here. And as a creative person, your mind is your greatest tool, but it's also the thing that's leading you on rabbit trails and squirrel hunts left and right. So, we've got, as just creative people, our minds all over the place. And then when we're doing things that feel all over the place. So we're doing one thing over here and then we're focusing a little over here. And then I'm running over here to this Facebook page about, home staging. And then I'm running over here to this Facebook page about my real estate. And then I'm running over here and I'm doing my Instagram account, which is on painting. I mean, it's so confusing. And from a biblical standpoint, the Bible says that a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. I believe that's in James. Don't quote me on that. I am not a Bible scholar. But a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Why? Because when you're thinking about two things at once, like you can never chase two rabbits at once. You can't do that. It's impossible. So it really separates and divides your attention, your energy, your focus, and all of the things. And so I got to where we shut down that painting business without really a second thought. And then the coaching thing just absolutely exploded. So I want to tell you that just so that you understand that I understand where the position some of you are in. You're doing more than one thing and you're wondering why things aren't really taking off. I want you to try to double down on one thing. Go all in on one thing. Put 100% of your efforts on one thing. The further down you can niche, the further down you can focus, the further down you can become known, the better things will be. And remember my example of, I'm not just doing business coaching, I'm doing social media and income coaching for creative entrepreneurs who are women, right? I mean, that's down. That's really niche down. Get known for the one thing, my friend. Get known for the candle making or the furniture painting or the goat's milk soap or the clothing boutique or whatever it is. But if you're going to continue to be a jack of all trades, it's going to keep your audience confused and you're not going to be making the income that you want. So friends, I hope that this was helpful. I hope that it spoke to some of you today. If it did, please do me a favor and hop over to iTunes and leave us a review and forward this to a girlfriend who might need to hear it. Did you know that when you're listening to one of my podcast episodes, there's like a little button at the bottom and it looks like a forward button. You can send the link literally in a text message or an email to your friends. If you wouldn't mind doing that, I would be so grateful. And because I think that this topic is one that's often misunderstood. And I want to see my creative entrepreneurs making a real difference in both their checkbooks and in the marketplace so that they can make a real difference in their families. So, all right, my friends, thank you for being here. And until next week, I want you to stay creative. Bye-bye. Hey friend, thank you so much for listening to the podcast again this week. I'm so honored that you're here and that you just listen week in and week out and that you share the Jennifer Allwood Show with your friends and family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, don't forget that you can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, or if you're an Android user, go download the Stitcher app.
and you could subscribe there so that you know every single week when a new episode releases. Also, if you have any time to leave us a review, these reviews are super important in getting guests for the show and sponsors for the show. And so we'd appreciate it if you have just a second to leave us a review. That would be amazing. Thank you guys again for being here. And until next week, stay creative.